A wonderful segment for you here. Hey, cruising, it could be a lot of fun, and there's a wonderful way to find bargains. That's why we have Wayne Dunlap. As you know, he's the author of Plan Your Escape. It's how to, go travel the world on less than what it costs to live at home. Hey, Wayne, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be back.
You know what? You impart such wonderful information for our viewers. They just love it. Now, my understanding is you've been on over 30 cruises, you and Pat, right?
That's correct, yeah.
You know what? Now, there's a large number of boomers, and it's just getting larger that they enjoy cruising. Could you kind of fill us in on that?
Yeah, cruising is a wonderful vacation. You can relax, you unpack, you don't have to unpack between destinations. It also can be very economical. You think about it, it's all inclusive because it includes your transportation, your lodging, your food, movies, lectures, swimming, dancing, beautiful entertainment shows. We just love going cruising. We've gone to the Caribbean, Mexico, Asia. You go to, off to Europe, the Mediterranean. And then we've done some really unusual smaller boat cruises.
Okay, so what's some of the really unique cruises that you've done?
Yeah, there are some really fun things. And the big boats are fun, but it's fun to get to smaller boats and get to more unique destinations. One of the best ones we've done was the islands off of Fiji. We did what's called the Blue Lagoon cruise. Oh, God, it was gorgeous. Every morning waking up to a beautiful beach that's uninhabited. It's amazing. We also took a fluke boat down the Nile River. And we've taken little boats through the Tahitian Islands. We took a boat down the Great Barrier Reef Islands, which was really just stellar. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Now, you know what? Cruise ships are getting larger and larger. And you know what, is there a way to, go and find bargains for those large cruise ships? Because we got more and more people looking to cruise. So, how's the cost working on that?
Saving money on a cruise is very important. And what happens is the cruise ships know that certain weeks of the year don't sell out. They've been in business for years, decades, and they know that there's some don't. So what they do is they dump those off to discounters. And one of the best ones that we found, and we've used them over and over and without a problem, is vacationstogo.com. vacationstogo.com. And they're wonderful. You can search different destinations around the world, whether you want to go to the Mediterranean or Caribbean or Asia or Mexico, whatever, Alaskan cruises. And you find these great bargains. You can even research the different itineraries where they go. It's really nice.
Well, now, that leads to the next question. How can you check out cruises and the excursions that you have that you can take on cruises?
Right. Well, one thing is that what you don't want to do is find a smaller ship or some other ship, and it's just a bummer. You don't want to get that. How do you know? And so we use a website called cruisecritic.com, cruisecritic.com. And what you can do is you just type in your cruise, type in the dates, type in your destinations. You can even type in excursions to see if they're worthwhile. And there's all these user reviews. And so you just read about them, and the users will tell you, though, this was a great excursion or this was a not so great excursion. And so you can really custom make your cruise and with great user reviews.
So in other words, you can say, hey, this sounds like a great cruise, but the critic can come on there and says, no, this is the time of year where it rains and it's real windy. You don't want to go.
Or this operator was just a bum. They took us to some place and they made us do whatever we didn't like. So you can just read about those kind of things. Or the cruise in general was didn't live up to what they said it was going to live.
Okay, I got to ask you about this. You've talked to me about repositioning cruises before. Tell us about that. How do you go about finding them? How do you go about getting those?
Repositioning cruises is one of the major travel secrets that North Americans don't know about, and they're wonderful. And the way this works, for example, in the Caribbean season, the ships go round and round the different parts of the Caribbean. And when the season ends, they move those ships to someplace else. That's called a repositioning, okay? And typically in that example, they move them over to Europe. And so what we do is we jump on one going from Florida, and we took it over to Barcelona last year. And then we went through Spain and drove through France, up to the Loire Valley. This way we start off our trips to Europe. They're wonderful because you can rely, get to your destination relaxed. Mm-hmm. There's no jet lag. And get this is the most beautiful part. Because they're not known, we'd get a 2-week, 4-star cruise. We're talking about Princess, Royal Caribbean, All America, the top guys. $700 a person.
That's inexpensive.
That's real. You can't fly over there for that kind of pricing. No. Yeah, so it's cheaper than flying. So repositioning cruises is something that when you have time, because it takes about 2 weeks, and they drop a few port of calls. It's a beautiful way to get over to Europe.
Now, my understanding is you're about to go on yourself, right?
We are. We're just, in a week's time, we're taking off. We're going to go, this time we're going to go from Florida up to London, and then we're going to go and drive through Portugal, the English countryside, and Ireland. So we're really looking, we actually have bags out now, we're packing for the trip.
Oh, okay. Now, my understanding, Alaska is a good bargain now, is that right?
Alaska's an amazing bargain, and I'll tell you why. What happened, we all can remember there was concerns about Mexico about 3 years ago, a lot of drug issues and things like that.
That's
but
right.
the concerns still prevail in a lot of North Americans' minds today. So the cruise companies have a hard time selling the Mexican Riviera cruises like they have. So those ships had to be moved someplace else. And a lot of them got moved up to Alaska, creating this oversupply. 3 years ago, we went on an Alaskan cruise. We paid $400 for a 4-star Princess cruise. It was amazing. Now, they're getting a little bit more expensive but as summer comes along. Go to vacations.com, go down to Alaska, and you'll see them as we get closer to summer. You'll see them for $600 or $700 for the week. So,
well, that's still very inexpensive.
That's a very good deal. Yeah.
Now, you know what? Those excursions that you take on the cruises, they can be pretty expensive. What are ways to find some good bargains there?
Right. Well, they have gotten expensive. Sometimes they're marked up like 3 times what you would normally expect. I know. So that's been a big concern of a lot of people, but there's options. We're starting to use a company called Viator, Viator.com, Viator. And what they do is they have excursions all around the world, not just cruises, but anywhere in the world. But you can go to your location of the cruise, and they'll have less expensive options for excursions. Also, one option we're doing a lot, we meet an interesting couple, like you and your wife, on the ship, and we team up with them. And we get a couple couples, maybe 3 couples, and then we go out and we rent a van. And we put together our own trip, and you share a van 3 ways. It's really inexpensive. You can have your own trip. The van will have it for the day, and it's a nice one. Then we get to meet the couples, have a lot of fun with them, et cetera.
Now, just one other tip that you've learned while taking cruises.
Just one?
Just one. I know there's a lot, but we only have about a minute left.
I say the best one I can give is that for the budget-conscious cruise person, book an inside cabin. Once you walk out your door, you have all the rights and privileges and benefits of any other cruiser on that ship. And they're much less expensive than the more expensive cabins.
So you can save thousands just by doing that.
Just doing that, inside cabins.
Wayne, thank you for being on the show today. This is wonderful. You know what? Everybody, if you would like to get information that you want to pick up, that you couldn't pick up, that you didn't get the websites, go to our website at the Silver Hair Tsunami. Stick with us. We'll be right back.